We'll see. You gotta squeeze that lime in, girl.
The Wild Robot, the one we just watched. So many good ones. I can keep going. So How to Train Your Dragon, Thunderbolt.
Hi guys, happy Easter. If I look different, it's just because my hair's straight. I only got honestly like what 2 5-second clips. One of Micah in front of me as we're walking into to lunch, and then the second one was lunch, and now I'm back home. I was actually planning on stopping at Pop Shelf, but I didn't realize how many stores were actually closed on Easter. So I drove separately to lunch because I thought that I was gonna make a stop at Pop Shelf. And so anyways, I drove myself back home. Clearly here I am. And Micah went back to my mom's house to get her car. And then her and my mom are coming back here. My stepdad has to work. So he is gonna do a little bit of work at home at his house. And I don't know if he's gonna come over later. Maybe, I have no idea. I'm hoping they're gonna wanna play Spinners, which is like this domino game. So yeah, we'll see. But we're gonna help Micah hang up her pictures. We scored these amazing wall art at Home Goods yesterday, Micah and I did. So Micah and I went to brunch with some other friends and family yesterday. And after that, I don't know why I didn't vlog at all. Actually, we ran into, while we were at this brunch place, we saw a mom, like one of the moms I knew when Micah was in high school. She was another one of the cheer moms. Love her daughter. She honestly raised such a good human being. I literally could not say enough good things about this girl. They both Micah and her daughter went to tech together. And but I hadn't seen the mom really since high school because her daughter went into a different sorority than Micah did. And Micah went Alpha Phi, and I think her daughter went Pi Phi. I think that's what her daughter did. Anyways, you know, when they're in sororities, it kind of like, I don't know, I just never saw her mom, basically. And I loved her. She was such a nice person. And so we saw her there. So that was crazy, you know, it kind of like took me back to the high school cheer days. And so yeah, so that was a lovely surprise. But then after that, Micah and I stopped at Home Goods and Hobby Lobby. I had to get a couple of things of material because I'm posting some notebooks that I decorate myself, and I post them on Etsy. You guys always sell it out like so fast. So I got some material for that. So I'm gonna be working on that a little bit today. And then Mike and I stopped in at Home Goods, and she rearranged her entire room. She moved her bed to a different spot in her room. So I don't know if she's gonna showcase that on her channel, but she was like, oh, I think I need some wall art, which I was like, finally. Because she's just now at 24, kind of like getting into decor. I had to go turn the TV down. I was playing Tombstone. I've been into Westerns lately now. I just watched Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington. Loved it, but also hated the ending. I hated the ending. It was good, but it was kind of like, did you even say bye to her? So we went to Home Goods, and she loves Claude Monet. She loves Monet paintings. And what do you know? Like, found 2 of them, and she loved them both, and they're the same exact dimension. One is like the lily pad Claude Monet. So I feel like it was a massive score because big pieces of artwork and framed at that can tend to be, I think, a little bit more expensive than $80. So we literally scored so big. So we're gonna hang those up today for her. The lily pad one is gonna go in her reading room above her reading chair. And then the other one, she doesn't want it above her bed. She wants it on the side. So she pushed her bed up against the wall. So she doesn't want it above the headboard. She wants it on the side. And I was just like, but it's fine, it's her room. And it's gonna look great there anyways. And then when she moves out, we talked about it. I was just like, these are gonna be gorgeous. And she was already saying, oh, you know, I could put this in like my dining room. Another reason why I look different is because you're seeing so much hair, but just know that I have an extension. And actually it's not an extension, it's like the halo where it has like the clips and then it has like this clear band. I don't know. Anyways, so I got it from Amazon. So it's making my hair a lot fuller. I'll link it in case you want to check it out. And I caved at the last minute, even though she said she didn't want anything really for Easter. But I caved last night. I was like, oh my God, I didn't get her a Barnes & Noble gift card. Like there's two things I give her as tradition, a Jellycat and a Barnes & Noble gift card. And so it's out for delivery. So I don't know if it's gonna like get here on time, but it's strawberry shortcake and it's called a bake-off card game. And I was like, yeah. I'm gonna throw up a picture here for you guys and I'm gonna link it in case you love strawberry shortcake as much as I do. Also, I'm creating brand new journals that I'm gonna drop on Amazon. If you don't know, I make journals on Amazon. I have a whole shop called CraftyGirl Journals, and which sometimes I'm like, why did I change my vlog name? I have to tell y'all, like, obviously I'm sure everyone has different perceptions, right? Based off of the life you lead and the walk of life you have and your personal experiences. Sometimes you can watch another person, like let's say you're watching me, and based off of your life and your walk of life, you can probably watch me and the decisions I make and you're like, oh, like, she's gonna realize this, or you're intrigued by my decisions, or like whatever, right? And when you're living your life, you don't have that same obviously outside view into yourself. It's very clear now, like the older I get, the more I learn about myself. And when I look back at certain decisions, I'm just like, you know, it's like when you get that tattoo when you're 18. At the time, oh boy, do you love it. But then when you're 40, you're like, oh, this is just embarrassing. That's not always the case. You could still love your tattoo, right? It depends. But I look back at, you know, the decision of selling my first house, which I talked about in a book. I literally do a very raw tell-all about what happened with my finances with that and how the market really, really screwed me. Like, I might as well have just taken all that money and threw it on black in Vegas. Like, it felt like gambling, and I never really knew it. I never knew how much money you could actually lose in real estate. And so anyways, I guess this is just gonna honestly be a chatty video for the rest of this video, so I hope you enjoy it, because I don't know that I'm gonna show very much after this, or if I do, it'll probably be in the following vlog. But I definitely, like, I love being here, I love being home, but there is a part of me that's like, I know I was meant to move to Florida. And I've said this time and time again, I'll say it again, but if I had moved to the city I wanted to be in, what I originally wanted to be in, I don't think I would have moved back home. As a matter of fact, I really don't. I think, I just think the odds would have been very, very tiny. And I let my realtor talk me into something else. And what's funny is when I saw that Florida house, I'd actually already seen it and passed up on it. I was like, oh, I like this house, but it's not where I want it to be. And as time went on, as I kept looking at houses, I was faced with a lot of outdated homes and very, 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 very overpriced at that. And I was like, I can't do this price and a DIY fixer-upper. Like, I'm not that person. I knew that if I was gonna move to Florida, I was gonna need a home that was turnkey, like done. If I was gonna do anything, you know, later on down the road kind of thing, like painting the walls or new floor. As I sit here now and reflect back on a lot of things, I'm kind of like, did I make the best decision? It's a yes and no answer. Like, I moved to Florida really a lot primarily for my cough. Like, I just couldn't take it anymore. And when I was in Florida on vacation, my cough was non-existent. But I was talking about Micah's pictures one minute, and I don't know how I got here. But I'm starting to learn more and more about myself and how, I guess the best word to describe me is stubborn. Like, when I do make up my mind about something, there's no telling me any different. I'm like this with anything. When I see a house, I know. When I saw my first house that I bought, the one I shouldn't have sold, I walked into that house and I knew. And that was it. I think it was like the third or fourth or fifth house I saw. I was sold. And I was actually up against a cash buyer. And I had to write a letter to the owners and they picked me over the cash buyer. Gives me chills when I think about that. And what's funny is that day when I was closing, I knew it. I knew deep down. I didn't have very many papers to sign either, because the buyers who bought from me, they were cash. They came from California. And so there's not very much documents or paper because there's no mortgage on it. And I had maybe like a couple of papers to sign. And I remember sitting there signing and I'm like, this is not right. And I still went with it. And I'm like, why? And then when I think about, why did I sell my Florida house? Why didn't I just wait to get the price I wanted? I was just so homesick that it flooded logic. It flooded, just calm down and be patient. You know, I didn't care. Like, and that's what I've been learning about myself. I'm like, oh, you have got to learn the art of patience. And so that's the season that I'm in. I'm in the season of facing or dealing with regretful decisions on everything. I regret selling my first house. I regret selling the Florida house now. It's all very overwhelming, but I have to accept what I've done and I have to stop having tunnel vision. That's not to say I'm not going to make another mistake. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I can't always, can you imagine if we were just born and gifted with making the right decision all the time? Like, woo, that's amazing. I would love for that to happen, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. And obviously my intentions were good. I always knew I wanted to live in Florida. I always knew it was for me. It's still for me, which is the irony of all of this. But I learned a lot of big lessons. How did I get here? I'm still trying to figure that out. I also was talking about Amazon journals. I'm actually making quite a few new, brand new themed journals, and I can't wait to let you guys know about them. So that's gonna be a thing that I think I'm gonna talk about at the end of April. Well, anyways, I hope this was a very interesting video for you. I know I don't talk too much about my personal life in detail like this all the time. So it's kind of like an updated video of sorts. I love this house actually. I have talked about it. The owner wanted to sell it to me, I guess. And this was a few months after I moved in. I'm like, oh no. But luckily the lease on this house doesn't allow them to just pull the rug out from underneath me. So they are honoring me staying here the 2 years that I signed, I just couldn't get myself to buy this house because I'm just not okay with the price. I think it is insane. I don't even want to tell you what this house is valued at because I just don't agree with it. And COVID did change Texas in real estate for the worst. Like, it benefited me, obviously, when I sold my house, what I bought my house to what I sold it for, which I do disclose in my book, which I'll link my book down below in case you want to buy it. It's on Amazon. It's really about Loxy. It's about how I dealt with that pain and where my mind was and like all the things that happened and what really kind of like brought me to come back home. So my point is, like, honestly, I would love to kind of live here for a little while. I'm tired of moving. I'm tired of paying for moving. That's why I'm actually going to deep dive into my finances on my main channel. I'm actually going to talk about how I'm paying off my debt, because my debt isn't related to my hauls. My hauls is actually part of my YouTube business. Statistically, I've put out a lot of different types of videos, decorating, Q&As, like things like that. But from what you guys from the data that YouTube gives me, my viewers love my hauls more than any other video style. So when I do make money off of YouTube, I put the money back into it. I use that money that I make, I put it back into it by the hauls, right? So my debt isn't because of that. My credit card debt is me using it for moving, for refurnishing. And so just FYI on that, because I can imagine I would have questions too. I'd be like, well, you're a haul channel, but you're gonna talk about your debt? Like, then stop hauling. But just so that you can understand how like YouTube works, it's just what my viewers love. I mean, you could be one of them. I don't know if you are over there, if you're just over here on my vlogs, but statistically, those are the videos that keep me on YouTube. I mean, that's that. And so when I do make money, obviously off of YouTube, you have to spend money to make money kind of concept. And I do obviously put money right back into my channel, the hauls, and round we go. So my debt is not caused by that. I don't use my credit cards to purchase the hauls or anything. So that's totally separate nature. But I will be deep diving into my finances and taking you guys along with me so that I can pay off my debt, because I do want to buy a new house. And DTI, your debt to income ratio, is something that's very big, very key in the mortgage process, as well as your credit scores, obviously. And so I really want to like button all of that up and really lower my DTI. So I need to lower my outstanding balances that are, that's obviously being reported on my credit reports from all the credit cards. And I need to have my credit cards below 10% of the balance. So let's say you have a credit card with $100, you don't want to be owing $100. Like, you spent all 100. You want to only borrow 10% of that, so $10. Same thing for $1,000. If you have $1,000 credit limit, you only want to use up to $100. You don't really want to borrow against more of it, because it's just not how the credit systems work. I don't know why it's like that. Why even give us the freaking balance? Like, I don't know. Don't get me started. But my goal is to pay down to that 10%. So I'm gonna take you on that journey. But point is, I really would like to rent this house at least another year, at least stay here 3 years. That would be nice, because it's just so exhausting to move and it's so expensive. It's what's caused a lot of my debt. And I mean, moving to Florida cost me $14,000. Yeah. So, and that was just there. Then I moved, into the other house before this. And then I moved into this house right after it. Like, it's just thousands of dollars. Anyways, it does make me feel a little weird and awkward. I see a lot of people talk about their finances and they seem so comfortable, and honestly, that's what's been a lot of my driving force for myself to kind of like open up more as well. I tend to get a little afraid of sharing all this raw stuff because I don't want to be judged for it, I guess. But when I watch someone talk to me about their finances and the hardships they're facing and how they're dealing with it, it's actually so comforting and helpful. And so that's what's kind of gotten me out of my shell a little bit, and why I've been willing to talk about it, because I'm like, well, what if I can help someone, you know? So anyways, because otherwise there's no good reason, to be honest, for me to share my finances, because I'm gonna get judged anyways. I know that. I know that's gonna come no matter what video I do. Anyways, yeah, I went to town, didn't I, on the chatty. I had like word vomit. But I hope you enjoyed it. But anyways, I am gonna go work on, actually I'm gonna do a membership video. I'm gonna go film it. Somebody over there requested a Burlington's haul. So my memberships, they get the videos that they request. Obviously right now that's doable because I don't have that many members. If I were to have thousands and thousands of members, I obviously can't fulfill everyone's specific request. But right now, it's something that I'm doing. So I did score some strawberry shortcake things. So that's, yeah, but that's gonna be for members. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye.